Welcome aboard, Big Sills, National Football Show. Do me a favor. Hit the like button right out of the gate. See all you guys already lined up, ready to rock and roll. And we have a power pack show for you. One of the greats that played in those Cowboy teams that won all those Super Bowls, Tony Casillas, second pick in the 86 draft, will be with us at the bottom of the hour. I'm going to tell you this, man. The Dallas Cowboys have walked backwards. There is no way that football team's Super Bowl window is open. Hour number 2 from USA Today, Christine Brennan. They've got to take the Washington Commanders away from Daniel Snyder. I'm going to say that right here on the show. That guy does not deserve to own the Washington Commanders. It's time for the NFL and the commissioner to step up and take that team away from that guy. It has been nothing but chaos since Daniel Snyder has owned that team. Chaos. Between the stripper cheerleaders, the hiding of funds, the 2 books that they have, one for the league and one for them. That guy does not deserve that team. That guy does not deserve to have a coach like Ron Rivera, too. So we'll talk to Christine. That'll be in hour number 2, and I appreciate everybody coming in here. I got to start it off by doing this, man. I saw one of the greatest things on Twitter last night. I saw a Philly fan with Met fan. And that guy grabbing that phone when that Met fan was talking shit, and he threw that phone on the field. One of the absolutely best moments I've seen on Twitter all week. The guy was talking shit. The Philly fan stepped up, grabbed the phone, tossed it on the field. And, of course, you get the snowflake guys that are on Twitter going, typical Philly. I'm like, congratulations. That's a fan, dude. No punches were thrown. No punches were thrown. I love it, man. That was wonderful, man, to see last night. Oh, my God. I saw that on Twitter, man. I'm like, they're going to get killed for this. They're going to get killed for this, but this is great. That dude didn't want to hear any shit talking. And it's stupid, Met fan. I mean, really, dude, what are you cheering for? You have nothing in your life to ever cheer for. Oh, that's right, 86 and 69. And yeah, okay, great. Xander said it to me before. Who's a Met fan? Okay, who's a Met fan? I mean, I've never met a Met fan. You're not really a Met fan. You're a Yankee fan with your hat turned inside out, and every fall you have that Yankee lid on. Holy cow, man. Absolutely ridiculous. We got the NBA playoffs right around the corner. By the way, I will ask you, who's got more pressure going into the NBA playoffs for the Sixers? Joel Embiid or James Harden? Yeah, well, Joel Embiid has taken that team and put it on his back and carried it all year long like a refrigerator. James Harden kind of came along, He was kind of supposed to be added to the mix, like helping the Sixers maybe get by the Bucks or get by Boston. Maybe, We'll talk a little more about that as well. Okay, Chris Olave was in town today for the Eagles, looking at a wide receiver. I just had a spirited debate with Xander about the wide receivers that the Philadelphia Eagles have, or a type of wide receiver. Now, look, I'll tell you something here. And you know what? I don't know if – and he says I'm talking in circles here. You tell me. If I am the Tennessee Titans, would I rather have A.J. Brown or Julio Jones, or would I rather have Quez Watkins and Devontae Smith on a run-powered team that runs the ball the way they do? And you have receivers who can't block downfield. There's a certain style of kid that fits a style of the football team and how it's being constructed. Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne don't fit on a Tennessee Titan team because that's not what they do. They're a third down efficiency team. They're not going to – and every time Ryan Tannehill is asked to throw the ball 37 times, what happens? They get waxed. That's a run-dominant football team. So when you're just looking at a list of wide receivers, I want this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy, and you think they plug in like spark plugs into an engine, it doesn't work that way. When you have a signal caller too, that also changes the dynamic. You don't have one in Philly. I'm going to show you where we're going to point this out. Watch this. So let me get this right. Tyreek Hill and Davante Adams leave. Let's put it out there. They leave Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. For who? Tagovailoa and Derek Carr. I happen to be a fan of Derek Carr. I'm a big fan of Derek Carr. But that's not quite Patrick Mahomes. You leave those two quarterbacks. For who? Do you think production goes down? You think their own personal production goes down? You're going from Patrick Mahomes to Tagovailoa. That's quite a drop in talent. Tyreek Hill took the bag of money. Davante Adams probably is going to be still around in that 1,200 to 1,400 yard range. Plus, that's kind of what they do. Hey, what helps Tyreek Hill in Miami? You got a brand new offensive-minded coach instead of a run-dominant guy who thinks defense, run the ball, efficiency on third down. Yeah, what it makes like it sounds like you're talking in circles is because every team is not built the same. Patriots tell you. What do you think the Patriots' biggest advantage was over teams? Was their versatility on both defense and offense. How many times did you see a guy who would gain 150 yards rushing for the Patriots one week? Next week, he's not active. Why is that? Well, they're going to have to throw the ball more. Or they're going to have to go to their tight end, so they'll activate a tight end. The key on building a roster, how I can put as many mismatches on your defense as possible. Playing to my strengths. The strengths of the Philadelphia Eagles is running the ball. Right now, it's running the ball. I know they have this fantasy that they want to throw the ball 38 times. I totally get it. But when you're looking at a kid like Olave or a Jameson Williams, why would you draft a Jameson Williams to a football team where your quarterback is still in an audition? Does it help him? Maybe. Jameson Williams goes to an experienced signal caller, another 1,200-yard guy. Could be a 90-catch kid. He comes to the Eagles, and again, just go through your history. This is not what you do. I get you're trying to change that, but he's not the guy to do it with. So if you're drafting a wide receiver, and I've been saying this for the last 2 weeks, you're not building this team for that kid. You're not doing it for Jalen Hurts. Here, and I'm going to say this to you. You tell me if this is true. You think Jalen Hurts ever gets to a second contract in Philadelphia? You think that guy gets to a second contract in Philly? Does Jalen Hurts get to a second contract? No way. No way. No way. Because the Eagles don't want that. They're building the team without the franchise quarterback is what they are doing right now. So, are they telling us here they want to get away from running the ball? GT thinks he will get to a second contract. You got faith that this is going to be a great audition year. Hey, by the way, I could be dead wrong, and I'll admit it 100%. Jameson Williams, a player like that, comes in on the other side of Devontae Smith, and those guys all of a sudden transform the entire Philadelphia Eagle offensive passing game. I'll be the first to go, wow, I never saw that coming, because you've never had it in your history. And you're going to do it with a second-round quarterback who lost his job at Alabama. Okay. What do you think of the odds of that are that he does that? Now, if you would have told me, what do you think the odds that you'd see a guy who was a free agent go on to win the regular season MVP and a Super Bowl MVP and go to back-to-back Super Bowls like Kurt Warner? I would tell you that is incredible. We've seen things like this before in the NFL. We've seen crazy. Tony Romo was undrafted. Exceeded expectations. Undrafted quarterback. Romo owns every record there is when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys passing game. But Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams leave Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. And you're telling me those two guys are going to have the same production. I want to see that. You got two Hall of Fame quarterbacks throwing you the ball. Hill leaves Mahomes for Tua. Maybe this is the breakout year for Tua. I don't know. Maybe this is the year he has his speedster. I've said it last couple of weeks. You know, and kind of if you think about it, Tua maybe fits with Hill because you know why? Hill likes taking those 4-yard slant passes, and he likes trying to take them to the house. Maybe that fits what they're doing. Opens it up by the other side for Jalen Waddle. At least they're trying. A guy like Deebo Samuel fits the Eagles. Why? He's versatile. Eagles run the ball. He's in the run game. He blocks in the run game. I saw somebody put this out there. You think he's worth $25 million a year? That's underpay. He takes Jimmy Garoppolo to conference championship games. Jimmy Garoppolo. Niners lose that guy? Boy, you have, and here's something else to think about if you're John Lynch and you're Kyle Shanahan. You're Kyle Shanahan and you're John Lynch, and you got a young quarterback in Trey Lance. Your football team runs the ball. You're going to get rid of that guy. Maybe you're going to be forced to because you can't afford him. You're 1-2 over the cap now. Who are you cutting? Nick Bosa? You trading Nick Bosa? What are you doing with Nick? He's going into the final year of his contract. You're not going to renegotiate it as you go into the final year? If that were me, and you hadn't had my deal done by September, and I'm Nick Bosa, you know what I tell you? Nah, that's all right. I'll wait till I walk into free agency. And I'll force you to franchise tag me. Then guess what? Then you got to make a decision. Him or me. And if you don't want him, I guarantee you, edge rusher, Bosa, he'll make $25 million himself. The Niners have boxed him in right now. They've boxed themselves in because of the Garoppolo injury. No harm on their part with this. But when Garoppolo got injured, they couldn't get it off the books. I guarantee you Jimmy G would have been moved 2 months ago. Guarantee. Brad, thank you. Dan, I just watched your UM highlights. Hey, and did you see the guy I was playing next to? That was Jerome Brown next to me, too. Hey, you should see his highlight reel. It's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Hey, I know. Luke, Sammy Watkins just signed. Was it with the Jets? $4 million. Now, again, that's a wide receiver that if you're going to be a running attack team like the Eagles, not sure that's a good fit. You guys just want to think that plugging a guy in here, it's like taking a rush, and I'll give you a better example here. It's like taking Charles Haley. Instead of having Haley in a 34 defense, you put him in a 43 defense, and you ask him to have to take on tackles and tight ends. Going to get run over at 255. Michael Parsons in a 4-3, he could play it, but guess what? He'd be worn out by week 17. Just run at him. He's 235 pounds. Run at him. You wear these guys out. Big physical people like that. playing 43s. 34s, you can be a light edge rusher. Guys coming off the corner. You don't have to be a monster dude. That's why this Aiden Hutchinson kid coming out of Michigan, he goes to a 4-3 defense. That guy's going to get smashed like he did when he was in the Georgia game. I'll run his ass over. I'd run right at him. Run right at him. Are we grabbing the honey badger? Brendan says. Brendan, it's coming down to 3 teams. Eagles, Steelers, Saints. That's all I got for you right now. Gator says Haley did a good job in the Dallas 43, though. He did. He did, but they liked flipping him. Charles Haley was a good football player. Okay? But what I'm saying, Gator, is a guy 255 pounds in a 43, you're going to get run at when you're the lesser guy when it comes to weight and size. What separated Strahan, he was 285 pounds, and Michael was 6'6". These guys are impossible. Same with Reggie. Reggie's 6'5", 6'6", 300 pounds. Dude, that's impossible because Reggie was so good at setting the edge. Haley was great. He was, man. 5 Super Bowl championships. Hugh says, Sills, what was your playing weight? 288, 290. Ran 4.81s all day long, too. When Big Sills is running 5s and up, time to quit. I never ran under, or I never ran over a 5 flat 40. Never happened. Shit, man, when I was a sophomore, I ran a 4.69. Yeah. Ran 4.69, 4.71. I could move, dude. But then again, I played linebacker when I was in high school. Yeah, benching 500 pounds, running 4.71s. Yeah. But again, you know, that's why I got moved to defensive tackle. Because the linebackers at UM, they ran 4.6s and 4.5s. Yeah. I don't think, dude. 4.7. 4.7's great, isn't it? Okay, 4.71. Then when I put more weight on, 4.81. Okay. But I was almost 300 pounds when I was doing that. And the guy next to me was 315, and he was running 4.8s, Jerome Brown. Oh, yeah. Every team is constructed different. Okay. Olave is in town with the Eagles. Xander's not a fan of him. Let's take a look at the Ohio State wide receivers. Michael Thomas, star player, A grade player. Yeah. He's a star player. Comes out of a good system. Quarterback is not really the player in that system. Okay? He's not. You run the ball, the O-line, the defense makes plays. So what I hear you saying is the Eagles should draft Drake London. He can block for Hurts and battle for fluttered balls or be that big third down possession wide receiver when we get a real quarterback. Okay. Local 252, it's a good question. It's kind of what Xander and I were talking about. Okay, here. Well, what's your identity first? What's the Eagle identity? What are you? Who are you? Not what you want to be. What is your strength? Who are you? If you think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to throw the ball 38 times this coming year, you'll win 4 games again. I don't give a shit who you draft in the wide receiver position in the first round. With that current offensive attack, if you put one of these college kids on the other side of a second-year player, you'll win 4 games. If you think you're going to throw the ball 38 times. This is what I'm trying to convey to people here. You guys are talking about a completely different offense. You see a wide receiver and you go, well, I can plug him in here, put him here. That's not what you do. That's not the strength of your team. If you had a signal caller Hell, how about this? I'll show you this. If Kirk Cousins was the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, how many yards would Devontae Smith have? How many yards do you think he'd have if Kirk Cousins was the quarterback of the Eagles? Here. How many yards? If you had an experienced guy who's had 1,250, yeah. Yeah, okay. You would look like the Niners. You know, that quarterback in San Francisco has no impact in the running game at all. Quarterback in Philly's, 75% responsible for the run game? You've got to figure out how to build the team and who you are first before you could start slugging in guys who are not going to be effective in the run game at all. You know, Randy Moss would be absolutely pathetic on the Eagles. You know why? How many times did you watch this? How many people think Randy Moss would be a good addition in his prime to the Eagles? I'll show you what Randy Moss used to do when the play wasn't going to his side. This has been blocking in the run game. And by the way, if you had Tom Brady on the Eagles, that's a different conversation. But you got Jalen Hurts. Okay? How many times did you see Randy Moss taking plays off when the ball wasn't come to him, when he had Dante Culpepper or Randall or Brady? Now, Brady couldn't get away with that crap as much, okay, because you had to be a complete wide receiver in New England. Randy Moss took plays off. You can't take plays off when you got a quarterback like Jalen Hurts. Dude, this all starts at the quarterback position. You can have any wide receiver you want on your football team. If you've got a Derek Carr, a Kirk Cousins, an Aaron Rodgers, a Russell Wilson, when you've got a developmental player at that position, you can't have just any guy, especially if it's against what you do. It's got to be a certain style. Or maybe to Xander's point, once again, they're building the team for the next guy. They go out and they get a Jameson Williams and they put him on the Eagles. They tell Jalen, go out, throw the ball. He fails. They move on. Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe that's exactly what they're doing. They're going to get as many skilled guys as they possibly can. And if Jalen doesn't throw for 4,500 yards, Jalen Hurts will be out of job after week 17 of this year. Especially if we start to see how they're going to build the team. Okay? Especially if we're going to see that. They run the ball right now. Now, if they're going to get away from that, and they're going to take, say, 10 carries away and give Jalen the opportunity, Jameson Williams, go. Jalen, go win games. This is how we're going to approach this year. They're going to let the dice roll then. Because that football team and that style of play right now will not win. We were debating whether or not Lamar Jackson and his style will win a Super Bowl. Guy's a fantastic football player. Worth the price of admission. So is Dan Marino. Worth the price of admission. Some of these guys are spectacular. You pay him. You do. He's done everything. But can he win the chip? Can he win the chip? That'll be the big question. Tony Casillas is going to join us. I'm going to tell you guys, I think the Dallas Cowboys' window of opportunity to win a Super Bowl is over. The owner of 2 Super Bowl rings, drafted second in the National Football League draft. We're going to talk some Cowboys, and I'm going to tell you, this is again another reason why the Philadelphia Eagles have a shot at the NFC East. It's because the Cowboys have also walked backwards. Hit the like button. Do me a favor, keep it right here on the National Football Show.
After a car crash, the big insurance companies you see advertising on TV, they may try to downplay your case and might say it's only a fender bender or it's just a herniated disc. I worry that some law firms fall for this BS. Not us. We put ourselves in your shoes and ask, what would it be like to be in your pain for the rest of our lives? $1 million wouldn't be enough for me. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. 7 on 3. 1, 2, 3. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the memories. Go for the view that goes on forever. Go for the bubbles in your bathtub and in your drink. Go to bed whenever you want. Or don't. Go for him. Go for her. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Former Pro Bowler and two-time Super Bowl champion, covers the Dallas Cowboys, will be with us in a couple minutes. I think the Dallas Cowboys' window of opportunity to win a Super Bowl is over. Let me ask you something here. By the way, hit the like button, please. How many people believe that Dak Prescott will have a second contract in Dallas? You know, he's got 2 years to prove he can win a Super Bowl at $42 million. You know, I started thinking about that last night because when I was thinking of Jalen not getting a second contract in Philly, does Dak Prescott get a second contract in Dallas? Would you pay that guy? What are you going to pay him? $50 million in 2 years? You think you're paying that guy in 2 years when the market continues to go up? People are already telling me you're going to have to pay potentially Jalen $40 million. You're going to pay Dak Prescott in 2 years. He's got 34 games left as a Dallas Cowboy, in my opinion. There is no way Dak Prescott gets a second contract in Dallas north of $42 million. Oh, Mrs. Brooks. My heart is with you guys. I sent Barrett a text last night, and I'm thinking of you. That just shows you something too, Mrs. Brooks, that very few people get to me. And I made sure I sent Big Barrett a text last night. I told him I was thinking of him. So I hope everything is working good there, because I thought of the big guy last night, and I thought of the family, and I thought of you, and God bless you guys, man. I really appreciate our friendship now. I can't wait to meet you. When we get out on the East Coast, man, we got to meet one another, because I'm looking forward to it. By the way, my wife says anybody who carries a pistola to the grocery store, she's fans with. She's fans. Okay? Just so you know, man. Oh, Big Pickin', you would do the same thing too, man, when you have a friend in need, and I don't really have a lot of friends, okay, but I've absolutely become, very partial to Barrett Brooks. I love the kid. I really do. I think he's got a tremendous future too in broadcasting. So we appreciate it. Hey, by the way, please hit the like button, and thank you again, Miss Brooks. I appreciate you doing that. Dak Prescott's no way getting a second contract, is he? There's no way. Did you see Jerry Jones? Jerry Jones came out and goes, man, when I'm looking at all the money that they're paying now in Cleveland and all the money they're paying in Buffalo, I got a steal of a deal. Dude, you got bounced in the opening round of the playoffs. You went as far as Jalen Hurts. And Jalen only cost the Eagles $1.2 million. If you're thinking you got a deal with $42 million, plus you had to pay him the $50 million in the guaranteed signing bonus, you paid that guy $72 million last year. You think that's a bargain, getting bounced in the opening round of the NFL playoffs? That's why the Cowboys ain't going anywhere. That's why they're not going anywhere, man. Dang. Craziness. I'm going to ask Tony Casillas this question as well, the owner of 2 Super Bowls. Let me bring my friend in here right now. There he is, Tony Casillas. Tony, I'm going to ask you a question out of the gate here with this Cowboy team. Do you believe that this Cowboy window is now closed for them to possibly have an opportunity at being a Super Bowl contender? Can't hear you, T. Let's see if we can get the volume turned up here. Because to me, man, they lose Randy Gregory. They lose Amari Cooper. You know what I mean? You start losing players like that, and why are you doing that? You see it up in Green Bay a little bit here, right? You see it in Green Bay. That when you start paying these quarterbacks the big money, you've got to start taking from different positions on your football team. Now there's probably another reason why Davante Adams also left Green Bay. Let's be candid here. How many more years do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to play in Green Bay? Okay? He probably wanted to go with a younger quarterback, a quarterback that he's comfortable with, a quarterback that he's familiar with. They played college ball together at Fresno State. So that kind of made sense. Plus, you go from Green Bay to Vegas, and you're in a very hot and contested AFC West. So there's no question that he was looking beyond 3 years. I'm talking Davante Adams here. Okay? He's looking beyond that. So the bottom line here is, where do we go from here now? Okay, to see if we're able to see if the Cowboys, this is now CeeDee Lamb now has to step up. Let's see if we can make that connection with my friend Tony Casillas. T, how you doing, my friend? No, it's not. Doesn't look like it's working here, man. Okay, looks like we're going to have to potentially have a reboot and maybe an opportunity to maybe we'll reschedule him here. Hopefully we're able to fix it and we're able to get it done here. So let's just go back over to what you guys are saying. Look, there's no real leadership, Rico says, in Dallas. That potentially could be. How can you have leadership in Dallas, okay, when, quite frankly, the most important person in the building is the owner. The owner has a television show. Hell, his son has a television show. Okay? There's just not really a lot of leadership or places to have leadership in that building because the owner undermines it. Dak Prescott will never get a second contract. Hey, 252, I can hear you as well as I can hear Casillas. How you doing? Yeah, CD's got to step up and being a number one guy. Absolutely. Yeah, Jones was going around telling everybody today that he got a steal of a deal with Dak Prescott's contract. And I'm sitting here going like this. Come on, man. There's absolutely no way that if you look at that deal, you're not saying this. Hey, buyer's remorse here. Buyer's remorse when you're looking at the Cowboys here. So hopefully we're able to get and see if we can do a little bit here with Tony and see if we can connect here. Yeah, I go, you hear Cowboy fans constantly saying, hey, we're still in the conversation because we're in a very weak NFC East. I get it. And I don't think it's a very weak NFC East any longer. I think it will be improved. But the Cowboys have clearly walked backwards. They've clearly walked backwards. All right, let me transition into this. How would Baker Mayfield fare in Philly? How would Baker Mayfield fare in Philadelphia? How do you think he'd fare? I don't know if you saw that TMZ interview. Excuses for his failures. I gave everything I had. Do you know the problem with Baker Mayfield? He's too immature. He's too immature to be a face of a franchise. He's too immature. He talks too much. And get this, he said something in that interview. And by the way, this is where I think Jalen is a better leader than Baker Mayfield. Jalen has this intangible. You know what it is? I was watching that interview on TMZ. Hey, Philly sports rap. He would be Wentz 2.0. I saw something on that interview that made me know everything I needed to know about Mayfield. You know what it was? When he said this, I don't really care if they like me or not. I don't care if my teammates like me. I just need them to respect me, and we'll go out and play. You know what? When you're the face of a franchise, you should want your teammates to like you. Tom Brady, that matters to Tom Brady. That matters to Brady. Okay? That matters to him. It matters to really the good quarterbacks. It matters to Peyton Manning. It matters to all these guys. Okay? It matters. You don't want a guy like that on your football team. I'd rather stick with a guy like Jalen because you know why? Jalen goes around and does the right thing in the locker room. Some of you are going like this. Sills, you come on here every day and you're talking about replacing him. Yeah, I am. But not with that. I don't replace things just to replace them. Things got to fit. There's got to be more of an intangible at that position. Hey, me as a defensive tackle or an offensive tackle or a linebacker, know this. It's not important if everybody on the team likes me. But when you're the quarterback of a football team, what does Tom Brady do? When Tom Brady rolled into Tampa, got the phone number of every single guy that was on the team. Okay? Every single guy wanted to have some type of relationship. Hey, I'm Tom Brady. Let's go and try to win ourselves a Super Bowl. Baker Mayfield and Aaron Rodgers don't want to do that stuff. I saw somebody ask me, Dan, who do you think is better? Luke goes like this, who do you think is better, the Eagles or the Cowboys? I think it's a pretty good question, and I think it's pretty close. Okay? I would say this. The coaching is on the Cowboys side. Dan Quinn, former head coach of the Falcons. Look at the impact that he made on the defensive side. Mike McCarthy's a former Super Bowl champion. Okay? The coaching staff, I would think, would be better in Dallas. The quarterback is a little better. He's a better passer of the football. CeeDee Lamb is better than Devontae. The tight end, pretty comparable. The O-line, comparable, but I'll take the Eagles O-line. The running backs, I'll take the Cowboy running backs. As a combination. The defense, Diggs is pretty damn impressive. Who's the most impressive player on the Philadelphia Eagle defense, you think, right now? Who's the most impressive defensive player? And not Riddick yet, because he hasn't played for him. Who would you say is the best defensive football player? Slay, the corner. He's probably the best player. Comparable to Diggs? Diggs is probably a little better, but Diggs is given more autonomy to do more things in the secondary. He plays in more space. Okay? He plays in more space, and that's why they're able to utilize him a lot better. Okay? He's able to utilize it. So I would say the Cowboys a little bit. Who's got a better run game? The Eagles do. But last year, every time the Eagles got on the field, and not counting when Philadelphia put their B team in, but the earlier game, it was not a competitive football game. It was not competitive. The Dallas Cowboys owned them. Okay? They did. The Dallas Cowboys owned them. Rico says, Diggs bites on the double move. He does. He gets beat. That dude gets beat a lot. He does, Drew, and there's no doubt about it. Diggs is probably more of a playmaking DB, but Slay is more reliable. Does that make sense? He plays within a scheme better. Yeah, well, Drew, that team last year is not going to look like the team this year. And you know what, too? I'll tell you. To go back a little bit on what Xander said, if you put a guy like Jameson Williams on the team on the other side, hey, I think this is a great question here. If you put Jameson Williams on the other side of Devontae Smith, how many yards will Devontae Smith get as a receiver, and how many yards does Jalen Hurts throw for? GT says, Sills, will you take another rookie over Hurts? No. I'm one of those kids in the draft. Corral's a better thrower, though, than Hurts. And again, if that's what you want the Eagle offense to look like, maybe. Maybe. Xander's right. I'll take a mediocre thrower or a mediocre runner all day long. Especially to what Xander's saying. Especially if that's what you want to look like in the future. You see, the Eagles want to get there. They're kind of slugging along, though. Because what do? When things go sideways, what happens? They revert back to running the ball. Right? When you're 2-5, you throw your hands up. Remember what they did? They went like this with the passing game. They had the passing game like this. They were 2-5. They went like this. Okay, well, that's out. Let's go over here and get the run plays. 2 pages. Let's simplify it, run the ball. Let's make sure. Okay, we simplify it and we run the ball here. Because when we do that, we make sure everybody understands, okay, we're giving up on our passing game. But see, the Eagles want to get to that point. Gator says Minshew's a better quarterback. No, Minshew's a better thrower of the quarterback. He's a better thrower of it. We saw it in the Jet game. I get it was the Jets. Okay? I get it. It was the Jets. So, understood. They won't draft a wide receiver if they stick with Hurts as the quarterback. I don't know, man. I'm trying to think maybe they do. All right. Let's see if we could try to catch up here again with Tony Casillas. See if we could do it. Tony, you there?
I simplified it, Dan. I mean, imagine trying to use the computer to actually do a broadcast, and all actuality, you have to use your phone. So I apologize. I didn't mean to get you all riled up because it doesn't seem like you need much help when it comes to talking about the Eagles. But, man, finally glad to see your pretty face, brother.
You got it, man. I love it here. Tone, the question I was going to ask you, do you believe that the Dallas Cowboys' window of opportunity to be a Super Bowl contender ended this offseason?
I'm probably about 90% would agree with that, because I think that when you look at the whole you look at the grassroots of this team and how they were built, you look at the offensive line, you look at the talent they had on the defense, how great their defense was on this year. You know this, Dan. It's all about, you got to be good, but you've got to be a little lucky. And the Cowboys didn't really help their luck this much. And so when I look at that, and you look at what are the Cowboys are going to do because it seems like that's been the narrative for some time. What are the Cowboys going to do to get back there? And I just think when you look at their offensive line, they have to retool it back inside. Zeke, you have Tony Pollard. You have some question marks there of guys kind of getting in the twilight of the career, especially Zeke and the offensive line. It's like, what are you going to do to enhance that? And I just think that they've really gotten to the point, and Amari Cooper leaves, and I really think that you probably, that guy was kind of the spark in 2014 or I think 20, whenever they brought him in. It seems so long ago, but it really wasn't that long ago. So, yeah, I agree with that. Dan, there's a lot of truth to that.
Do you believe that Dak Prescott will get another contract after 2 years in Dallas?
I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot's going to be predicated on what happens this upcoming season. I think it ultimately comes down to the quarterback. Against the 49ers, I think the Cowboy Nation has been really restless, but I think there's more anger, more venom out there if you follow them on social media. And I think there's so much pressure and there's so much expectation on a quarterback now, besides the $40 million and besides the money that you're paying. There's a guy, he's a guy that at times was good, but then there was times that you're thinking, why'd you make that throw? It looks like it would be more of a rookie year type of throw, and not a guy who just paid all this money. So there's I'm a big fan of Dak Prescott. I think he's been the best answer we've had at quarterback in some time, and I love his leadership. I love the things that the intangible things he has, but it's all about measuring how you do it in the big moments. And as long as you're labeled, and as long as you're on the Cowboys team, which there's so much love or hate them, you're going to be expected to take this team and put them on your shoulders and will them into the playoffs. And ultimately, if you don't do it, you're running out of excuses.
Tony, take me into a Dallas Cowboy locker room when you were there, and you were there during the heyday, and you had, and I know it's a different dynamic today with Mike McCarthy versus Johnson, completely different. But when Jerry now is more involved, and I think you were there probably with the Switzer team. I'm not sure. I think you may have been there with the Berry team when they won that third Super Bowl. But tell me what it's like when you know the head football coach is constantly with the owner over his shoulder. I think Jerry gets in his own way sometime, and that's been the problem the last 25 years in Dallas. Does it become a problem for players in that locker room too, especially when things start going south?
Well, you play for Jimmy Johnson. You know his demeanor. You know that he's a tremendous coach, but he has a lot of expectations, and he wants to be the alpha dog. And unfortunately, when you have Jerry that buys a team, and it's almost like you invest in the stock and you become rich overnight, although he was pretty rich when he bought it. As rich, as valuable as France is now, because that's been 30 years ago. But you have to be able to coexist. And I think that's kind of I think that's what we're seeing now. And I think that a lot of people, that's why they resent the Cowboys. It's so funny. I was looking, some of the players, I call them more like Twitter and Instagram players now, because you look at the teams, you look at the followers. I looked at the Eagles. I mean, they got 4 million followers, but the Cowboys got 4.5 million along with New England. So it's that age of internet, social media football, if you will. And I think that's kind of the way, Jerry's a smart man, without a doubt. I mean, there's probably too many things that were talked about that weren't football related to this offseason, to get my point. But, I think I think when he won those Super Bowls, that was probably the worst thing that could have ever happened to the franchise, so to speak. It built his empire. It was great for him, but he's still living off that legacy. He's more of the marketeer now. He's the genius of putting something together. His tentacles are everywhere. Yesterday they had this big announcement, and it was the first ever relationship with crypto, to trade crypto and pay. So those are the type of things. He always thinks ahead of everyone else. And I think when it comes to a player, and I think you're right, Dan, you get that comfortable with the owner, and the owner's paying you, and you think, well, I really don't need to go to the head coach. I'll just go talk to Jerry. And sometimes it feels like it's Uncle Jerry. And you have this kind of, you feel comfortable with that. Then I think sometimes maybe the coach doesn't get the due respect he needs. And people sense that. And I think there's always been an entitlement too since then. And Jerry, as long as he's a brilliant businessman, but man, damn, it's been a long time. Dan, it's been so many years, and since the Cowboys have been relevant. I mean, we're going back to my old ass back in the day, and I'm like, that's prehistoric days in my eye, because but in all actuality, like, they're so relevant that they did it last season. So I think Jerry, for now, he's a Hall of Fame owner. I think he gets he gets value with that, and that's something that motivates him to see what he can do and stay ahead of everyone. But I think the way of leadership ultimately with some of these players, because at the end of the day, they'll go talk to Jerry and not the head coach.
That's right. I think when you entitled, and I think you're dead on. One of the reasons when Jimmy left the building and Bob Ackles started leaving the building, the entitlement player became a major fixture in Dallas, and I think that's been the undermining of it. Final question for you here, Tony. Lincoln Riley and the way that he exited Oklahoma, and by the way, so I'm sorry, but I don't think Lincoln Riley took a better job at USC than what that Oklahoma job is. I'm sorry, I just don't. And you're going into the SEC. Tell me just your thoughts on him leaving the way he did and how he did.
Well, I think it's I think the Oklahoma program, I think it really caught them. They were shocked. Yeah, I think everyone just wasn't expecting that, and I think he hit it very well. And you got to understand this. In the day and age and the climate of with the NIL and players and transfer portal, and you have the coach, he didn't really set a very, very good example for players that he's going to ultimately coach. And I don't know if that's something the players will look and say you can't trust him, but I think that he couldn't do it with Bob Stoops' players. He didn't establish any type of defensive personality. It was all about going out and getting these quarterbacks, the Baker Mayfields, the Kyler Murray's, getting the receivers. And you got to have those guys, but just really abandon the defensive side of the ball. And so I think that really ultimately he he didn't have this type of brand. His brand was obviously the offensive side of the ball. And then he decides to go to USC to take the money, and I think it's a step down. I mean, USC has a tremendous program, but they don't have to compete against the SEC. He can recruit on the West Coast, and I think, yeah, he'll probably win, Dan. But you got to look at the teams that are in that conference now, and he'll have success off that. But he'll leave. He'll go on to the bigger and better thing. But it just felt like all the alumni and everyone just got kicked right in the freaking gut, and the way he left wasn't good. And I think that Brent Venables will create. He's already created this. I'm glad I want to be here. I'm embracing the program. This is Oklahoma. This program should never be looked down on because they've been in the mix for so many years, and it shouldn't be all about what Lincoln Riley did. Lincoln Riley, he'll move on, but those coaches will move on, but the program will always be there, so it'll be a mainstay.
Well, finally, we're based in Philadelphia, and we talk a lot of Eagles football, and I got to ask you, what were those Eagle-Cowboy games like when you played against those teams in Philadelphia?
It wasn't brotherly love, brother. I mean, I don't know where they ever got that narrative of brotherly love, but I loved it. I mean, look, anyone that says that that motivates you. Hate just motivates you, and it was two teams going after it. I think it was more the fans that really kind of added to the fuel to the fire and the backdrop of everything. And I think that's really the greatness of that game. But man, I wouldn't trade those games for nothing. I mean, it was a tremendous. We didn't like each other. We played like we didn't like each other. After the game, it's all good. But hey, when we were between those white lines, man, we did not like each other. And I'll tell you what, the fans hated us. So that's what made it a great, great football game. You know that. I mean, when they're back there, you hear profanity and they're talking about your family and everything. You turn around and, you're like, look at the scoreboard. But it was greatness, man. I mean, that's one of the NFC East is to me in that era, and certainly I think now there's some rivalries that go along with it. But man, those are the black and blue days, man. And I got bruises on me. I can't walk because of some of those games. So that reminds me every day. But dude, I would not trade it for anything.
Tony, it is always great catching up with you. Thank you so much for making the effort to make it happen for us here, man. We appreciate it. You know how much I love and respect you, man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Tony Casillas. That's my friend there, friends. I love it. He was on the Morgan & Morgan hotline here. And speaking of John Morgan here, Dan Sileo here for Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free. That means this. Guess what, folks? They don't get paid unless you get paid. That's what Morgan & Morgan has done for all the years that I've known them, too. I've been friends with John Morgan for over 25 years, and that company is 100% behind their clients. If you're hurt on the job or you're injured on the job, choosing a lawyer, John used to tell me, was one of the most important things when this happens to you that you could possibly do. For the people, okay? This isn't just a slogan. John had this years ago, and it was never a slogan. It's what they do, and it's who they are. Do me a favor. Understand this. With over 800 attorneys in Philadelphia, there in the offices in Florida, New York, across America, Morgan & Morgan's army of lawyers are there to defend you and get you the compensation that you so need. The call is free. Okay, the consultation is free. Call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. Open 24 hours a day for you, 7 days a week. 800-512-1600. Tell them Big Sales sent you.
When choosing a lawyer for your injury case, you may ask, does the size of the law firm matter? Well, of course it does. The insurance company, they're huge with unlimited resources. And whether your case is big or small, they're built to bully you out of the money you're owed. But here's the good news. We're big too, the biggest actually. And we're built to fight to make them pay for all that was taken from you. Size is our strength. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the memories. Go for the view that goes on forever. Go for the bubbles in your bathtub and in your drink. Go to bed whenever you want. Or don't. Go for him. Go for her. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Hour number 2, Big Sills National Football Show. We welcome you aboard. We're going to try to get the Washington Commanders taken away from Daniel Snyder today. I got Christine Brennan from USA Today at the bottom of the hour, and she hates this guy. And she's based in D.C. She hates this guy. I told her, let's do a column. Get him out of there. He does not deserve to own that team. He does not. Maybe, wait a minute. Maybe Eagle fans will get pissed off at me now. Sills, this guy has sucked for 25 years. What are you doing to us? Leave him there. That's all we need is a really good owner to come in and screw the whole thing up. I'm sorry. Maybe wait a minute. Right, Greg? Wait a minute. Well, you're right, man. You're right. Maybe we need to keep him there, man, because that guy's a train wreck. Cooking books. Jesus criminy, man. What an absolute train wreck, man. We appreciate it. Guys, please hit the like button. Can I tell you something that I just so love about my show and about the kid I work with, Xander? We got into like a little back and forth. And you know what I love about that? It's great. Had nothing to do with politics, religion. Had nothing to do with that. Politics or religion. Things that start race riots and wars. You know what we're talking about? Football. See, Xander does have some Italian in him. Now I understand this because you know why? He's got to have the last word. I was spot on. Okay. See, in my family, it's not if you have the facts. It's whoever hollers the loudest. Nobody can talk. This guy was talking to me like my old lady. Nobody can talk to you. They don't believe in you or your shit. Dude, just dismiss it. You don't hear anybody. Okay. Excuse me. Are you talking to a mirror? Bada boom. How do you do, Gator? You don't have too many. Gator, I think down in Gainesville, isn't it more bada boom? Bada boom. I shouldn't say that, man. I want the Gators and the Canes and the Knowles to get back to where they belong. Top 5. Jewish and Italian. How do you work for that guy? Very smartly. What are you talking about, man? Very smartly. Hey, by the way, he's not throwing any shade at you. Oh, you saw the last name. What do you think? Bernie Kosar's Jewish too? Bernie Kosar's Catholic. Xander's Catholic. He's not Jewish. Jesus Christ. I just got through saying we weren't talking about it anymore. We weren't talking about it. Oh, man. Yeah. More like, hey, boy. Gator, don't go there. Okay? You're already in a state with enough shit going on in it, aren't you, man, with your governor? Come on, man. Look. Now, of course, Maniac and everybody. Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ to me. How you doing? For those of you out there that are Italian, Jesus Christ to me. Okay? He's not budget magoo. I don't know. I used to have all that shit said to me when I was, hey, I thought my name when I was younger was Blank. That's what my grandfather called me. What a blank. What a blank. Hey. Hey, sorry, Steve. I was raised in an Italian home. I did it again, too. You guys, hey, man, Philly's tough, man. No wonder Benjamin Wentz. No wonder those two guys ended up melting in a pan like a piece of butter. Christine Brennan will be at the bottom of the hour. Jesus. Yeah, you see Benjamin, I think he's going to, try to play for the Nets or something. Yeah, you know? Yeah, I'm going to try to play. Dude. Seriously, man, you should file a grievance against that guy if you're the Nets. He has been a complete disaster. What an absolute fraudulent turd that guy is. Man. Yeah, but I like him. No, I don't. You want that guy on your team? I mean, it's like Kyrie Irving. One day Kyrie's this. One day Kyrie's that. One day Kyrie's this. I think you got enough to worry about with your own Sixers. Joel Embiid or James Harden? Who has the most pressure heading into the playoffs, you think? Who has the most pressure? Would it be Embiid? Or would it be Harden? You brought Harden in, man. You made that deal. Or did you make that deal because it was a deal of convenience? You got a star, but you gave up a lot, it seems, in that transaction, right? Smile says Harden. Showtime, Harden. Easy, Maniac. I agree with you, Steve. Harden's got to show people that he's not a choke. Dude, it's time. How about this? Watch this. With James Harden. Hoss, your legacy's on the line, kid. How many teams are you going to run to? Is there any place else to run to? Where are you running? Are we now under this? if James Harden doesn't deliver at least the opportunity for the Sixers to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, do we not say this? Hoss, man, you're Carmelo Anthony 2.0. Carmelo was a fine ball player. Will be a Hall of Famer. Yes, sir. James Harden will be a Hall of Famer. But you ain't one of them guys that could take a basketball team like Steph Curry and put it on his back, or Giannis. Dude, you're not that guy. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to think now, you've never been that guy. That's why Oklahoma City moved off you. Remember, can you imagine? Pressey had all those dudes in Oklahoma City. Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden. Had all those guys there. Drafted every one of them. And didn't really get anything out of it. Man, I mean, it's time for James Harden to do something, dog. Got to start doing something. Got to start doing something. Hit the like button. Appreciate you guys coming aboard again. Look here, man. I'm going to say this to you guys. You know what I really love about the fact that the Eagles are now looking at quarterbacks in the draft? Okay? Matt Corral, obviously, they're looking at him front and center. I watched some game film on him last night. Okay. Easy. Where are you? I watched some film on him. He's not bad. Could he be somebody that you could build your roster around? And would you rather do this? How about this? Xander says I'd drop the 15th pick on him if he's there. Or how about if he's at 13? Would you move up to get him? One of those picks you got from the Saints? Say you had to move up 2 spots and you knew there was a team. Here, let's take a look at that. Let's look at this here. Let me ask you guys this. Would you rather have Matt Corral as your starting quarterback in 2022 or Jalen Hurts? Who would you rather have as your starting quarterback? Would you rather have a rookie? Or would you rather have Jalen? Here's one thing that's already evident. And you know what, guys? I started watching this last night, and I started thinking this. Any quarterback that's in this draft has a better arm than Jalen Hurts does. All of them almost do. Even the kid in Nevada. He's got a better arm. He's got a pretty big arm, actually. The kid Willis has a big arm. Would you rather have the rookie that today is a better passer than Jalen? Don't you think the Eagles know that? I'm awake. Are you? I love Hurts, but Corral turns up. Jalen. 215. I don't know. Alexander says, Dan, I've been saying that the Eagles are moving up. Big gamble. So you think this could be the gamble? Hugh, I think they win their first series. See who they get matched up in the second round. I think the Sixers are going to Eastern Conference Finals. I do think they are. D-Train, I think Ritter's going to be like in the third round, the quarterback out of Cincinnati. I think he'll play. Let's take a look at this for a second here. Okay? Does Jacksonville need a quarterback? They got the first pick. No. The Lions aren't going to take a quarterback. They just made a deal for Jared Goff. The money they owe him still on that contract. I don't think the Lions take a quarterback. I think they probably, if they can, probably take the kid Aiden Hutchinson if he's there in the 2-hole. And if he's not, they probably take Neal. Now, the Texans need a quarterback. Would they take a quarterback at 3? Possibility. Okay? I know they like this kid Mills. No way, Steve. I think that's you would take Malik Willis at number 2? Woof. That's a big leap of faith. Texans signed Baker. Why? Jets at 4. They just drafted a guy, Zach Allen out of BYU. They're not taking one. Would the Giants at number 5? And by the way, did you hear what the Giants said? The Giants today said that they'd be willing to move out of that 5 hole. I don't believe that. Then again, didn't the Cowboys and Eagles, didn't they make a trade in last year's draft? And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that the Parsons deal? I think that was like the Parsons deal, wasn't it? Didn't they make a move? Because I know the Cowboys and the Eagles made a move last year in the draft. I think that was the Micah Parsons deal. And they got Devontae and they got Parsons out of Penn State. So the Giants at 5, you got to keep an eye on that hole. How about the Panthers at 6? So look what you have here so far in the top 10. 3, potentially 3, right? Okay. Potentially 3. 5 and 6 could take quarterbacks. The Falcons at number 8. They're probably not, well, would you draft a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract when you still got $37 million of dead money? Yes, the Falcons will draft a quarterback. Yes. The Falcons are drafting a quarterback at number 7. 8. Seattle at 9. Dude, there's a lot of teams in the top 10. So for the Corral kid to get down to 15, they're going to have to move up. Look at what we're looking at here. Texans at 3, Giants at 5. I'm talking about where those particular teams are, if they're going to trade or not. Panthers, then the Giants again at 7. Giants at 7. Falcons at 8. Would Washington draft a quarterback after making a deal for Carson Wentz? Minnesota's not going to draft one. The Ravens aren't drafting one, and there's Philly at 15. Wow, there's about 7 spots for a team to take a quarterback before a team to trade up. If you are Philadelphia, would you rather have the rookie quarterback? Would you rather have the rookie quarterback or the project you're not sure of? And then, get this, with the second first rounder, you take a wideout. You get him help. Then you have Devontae on the here. How does this make sense? You trade Jalen to the Texans. You trade Jalen to the Panthers. And you have to give up an asset in draft to get into that 6th spot. You get into the Panthers spot at 6 or the Falcons spot at 8. To me, I would go to 8. Now, look, this is all under contingency. We're talking that the Eagles would move up to take a quarterback. Okay? I get it. The furthest I would move up would be number 8. I would move into the Falcon spot from 15. I would move up. Got a first-round draft choice from the Saints. See, the problem with that Saints pick, though, that Saints pick is probably going to be a significant pick, because how many games do you see the Saints winning this coming season? 6 games? 5 games? Right? You're talking about a Saints pick that you got for next year's draft that could be pretty significant. So you better be right. If you're going to move up to 8 and you're going to give that pick, maybe you give the 18th pick. Because the 18th pick, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, is it the 18th pick? Is that your own pick? What you don't want to do is you don't want to pick that a team gave you, because you don't know how they're going to play in 2022. That Saints, what if the Saints only win 2 games? You're talking about the 3rd pick in next year's draft. Unless there's some sort of contingency on that plan, I'm not moving that Saints pick like that, because I think the Saints are going to suck. And that 2020, you know what? Think about this, for instance. Say you make the playoffs. Say you play well. You win 10 ball games. And you may get the 3rd pick in the NFL draft in 2023 because how bad the Saints are. Do you want to end up giving that up? I don't want to give that up because I'm in the 3 hole. That means next year there could be a position that I really want. There could be a big-time playmaker somewhere. Bama's littered. They got a linebacker on that team. By the way, hey, Xander, what's that linebacker's name that's on that Bama team? That kid is a freaking baller, dude. That guy can play. I think he won the Buckus Award. I know I voted for him. Kid's a baller, man. They got a bunch of good kids. Yeah. Christian Harris. That kid is a great football. I'd love to have that kid on the Eagles. Absolutely, man. You think, hey, would you rather, I've not really thought about it. Would you rather have a rookie arm that's already better than Jalen Hurts? That guy started playing linebacker 3 years ago. You know what that tells me? He's a quick learner and he's a savant. Does it shock you? He's a smart player and he plays at Alabama. You know, that's the one thing that I notice about those Bama kids too. They are all freaking spectacular football-minded guys. That's why when you watch Devontae Smith run a route, or you watch him in his pregame preparation, and you watch him, how he handles himself on the field, complete understanding of being coached, smart. All those Bama guys are smart. You see, you don't have to be book smart. Okay, but if you're football smart like that, that's why they win. My coach, Jimmy Johnson, used to say it all the time. Kick me in the face the next time I draft a dumb player. All right, I want to take a timeout. Please hit the like button. I never thought about it, guy. I want to continue more of this because it's starting to make more sense to me. Do I want to go into a season with Jalen Hurts, or do I want to go into a season with a rookie on a rookie contract who's already got a better arm? Does that not make sense? You know, I'm actually kind of like talking myself into this. Plus, Christine Brennan, got to get that team away from Daniel Snyder. He is a cancer to the National Football League. What a shame Ron Rivera's in that building. Really is. We'll talk to her, get her thoughts on Daniel Snyder, and if the NFL will take that team away from him. I believe they should. We'll get back to you on that. Hit the like button. Keep it right here on the National Football Show.
When choosing a lawyer for your injury case, you may ask, does the size of the law firm matter? Well, of course it does. The insurance company, they're huge with unlimited resources. And whether your case is big or small, they're built to bully you out of the money you're owed. But here's the good news. We're big too, the biggest actually. And we're built to fight to make them pay for all that was taken from you. Size is our strength. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the memories. Go for the view that goes on forever. Go for the bubbles in your bathtub and in your drink. Go to bed whenever you want. Or don't. Go for him. Go for her. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Welcome back. National Football Show, your boy Big Sills. Couple minutes, we're going to talk to our friend Christine Brennan from USA Today. It's just a train wreck going on in Washington, D.C. now with Daniel Snyder. I think they're going to take that team away from him by September. We'll talk to one of our dearest friends, known her over 30 years, one of our great, great friends and a great columnist and multiple award winner. I mean, she is just one of the best, and we love her. Christine Brennan actually covered me when she was at the Miami Herald back in the day, so we'll get to her here in a couple minutes. Hey, before I get back to that topic, I want to throw you guys some names. I got 4 guys that could be sleeper guys out there for you to keep an eye as you're putting your draft charts together. Jalen Petrie, Baylor. He's a safety. Started watching a little film on him. I'm looking at the safety position for the Eagles in rounds 3 through 5, somewhere in there. I think that would be something that they could get. There's some pretty good safeties. The kid from Maryland, Cross, that I threw at Barrett a couple days ago. This kid Petrie looks pretty good. Now, not that they play a ton of defense in the Big 12, so that kind of scares me a little bit, but Jalen Tolbert, South Alabama, wide receiver. Watched him. Great route runner. It's fast as hell. Okay? And again, is that the guy that fits to what they're trying to do? Are they going to take a quarterback in the upcoming NFL draft? Because if they take a quarterback in the upcoming NFL draft, Devontae Smith's career will take off. Because you guys are right. Why not draft an arm? You don't have one in Philly right now. There's no arm in Philly. 3,100 yards is not going to cut it. I don't care what he did with the 900 yards. Okay? I just don't. Okay? Channing Tindall, this linebacker from Georgia. Dude, this kid's probably going to go high, but keep an eye on him, man. That Tindall kid can play. That defense with Georgia, dude, there's a boatload of kids. I would say this to you, man. That 11-man unit, you're probably going to get 8 players drafted in the top 3 rounds. You're probably going to see 8 of the 11 taken in the top 3. That defense is one of the best units I've seen in quite some time. And get this, I saw Georgia's still going to be ranked like third or fourth in a preseason poll going into, the spring games, and then coming out of the spring games. Georgia's going to be right there. Bama's already number one. They're going to be a consensus number one preseason. So they're going to be right there. Ohio State's going to be – Notre Dame's – believe it or not, Notre Dame's going to be pretty good. There's going to be some ball players at Notre Dame. There's a guy, too, from Ole Miss, okay? Sam Williams had 12 and a half sacks with Ole Miss. Kind of been flying under the radar a little bit. That kid, if you watch him, do me a favor, if you get a chance, because, look, Eagles need to get edge rushers, right? So I'm looking for guys that maybe don't have a lot of spotlight on them, but are coming from good programs and being well coached. Okay? And he's one of those guys. All right. Guys, I got to say something to you here, man. I don't know how Daniel Snyder continues to own that football team. I don't know how he continues to own the Washington Commanders. And I'll say this to you, too. So you go from Preston Marshall to this guy? I mean, racist emails going back and forth, the cheerleader situation with advertisers. Now potentially you're stealing money from the players in the league. Only person I could turn to in the nation's capital that will give me the lowdown on it is our friend Christine Brennan from USA Today. Christine, thank you so much for doing this. I so appreciate you coming aboard here on the Morgan & Morgan hotline. Thank you so much.
Hey, Dan. No, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Sorry I have to be on the phone. I'm actually on the move a little bit this afternoon, but great to be on with you and always enjoy the conversation.
Am I right, Christine, that the NFL needs to take the Washington Commanders away from Daniel Snyder? I mean, when's enough, Christine, here, and how he's handled himself since he's owned that team? Yeah, you're absolutely right. I wrote a column right after the Washington Post was breaking all the stories about the allegations of sexual harassment, saying that he had to go. And that seems like it was about 10 years ago. I think it was, year and a half, 2 years ago, at least. So I thought he should be gone then. Obviously, the league slapped his wrist, gave him a fine, and then put his wife in charge. Well, wink, wink, of course. Tanya Snyder is in charge, but of course Diana's still around completely, and that was terrible. Those allegations of sexual harassment, significant. If people haven't read them, they're in the Washington Post. You should read them. And it was bad. Workplace culture issues under, on Snyder's watch, under his roof at the park with the Washington football team. So that was bad enough. I thought, would be grounds for any ownership change. And I think it's important to say here too, Dan, as I know you would agree, and your listeners, that it is very rare to have to get rid of an owner. It has happened, Sterling in the NBA. You had Jerry Richardson a few years ago with the Carolina Panthers in the NFL. But in general, it's really, it's something, of course, that doesn't happen very often. And understandably, the owner is the owner. They're the boss. They have bought the team. So, but this was extraordinary. And then now you have this congressional committee imploring the Federal Trade Commission to dive into the allegations of the shady business practices of the Washington Commanders. So, yeah, maybe because it's about the money that would be due the other owners through the league, maybe that will be the thing that finally gets this done. Christine, what boggles the mind, though, is, like you said, that the wife ends up taking control of the team for a suspension period, I'm guessing here. But then what do? Somehow they allowed Daniel Snyder to buy out his minority owners after that whole scene went out. And now he's complete control interest. So the NFL owners, instead of punishing him, they ended up in a sense rewarding him. And now he is the sole owner of the Washington Redskins. There used to be, the Washington Commanders. There used to be like minority owners. Well, he's been given that autonomy now. To own the majority of the team. So is this a bigger issue that the NFL owners, not just the commissioner, But the owners have to look what's right, because we always hear them saying this, Christine. Hey, it's about protecting the shield. You had racist emails going on between Bruce Allen and John Gruden inside the organization. Like you said, the cheerleader thing with the advertisers down in the Bahamas. I mean, when's enough here?
Yeah, some people did lose their jobs or left. Larry Michael, who I've known for years in D.C., was in charge of all the communications, and he was. There were allegations against him in the whole workplace, harassment situation, very troubling issues, and he's gone, and others have gone, but people have taken the fall, but not Dan Snyder. And the NFL is it's our biggest pro league by far. It's our national pastime, truly. I love baseball, but the NFL, it just dwarfs Major League Baseball in terms of interest, TV ratings, you name it. And so it is troubling, the issues that we continue to see in the National Football League, the issues, of course, of the lack of black coaches, the recent allegations that we were going to see obviously play out with Flores, the Deshaun Watson getting another chance in Cleveland with 22 women, the allegations of inappropriate behavior at best, and who knows what at worst with him, and yet he gets a chance with another team, but Colin Kaepernick did not. On and on it goes. It's incredibly troubling. Each one of these, you could probably say, well, okay, that's a one-off. Well, these aren't one-offs anymore. There are a lot of them there, and it is bothersome to me. I think it's bothersome to a lot of people, and is it, as you know, Dan, it's not just women. I mean, sometimes we talk about Cam Newton the other day with his completely idiotic comments about cooking, and a friend of mine got in touch about that, a man, and I said, that's not a women's issue. That's an American issue, right? The men should be talking about that. You don't need women to talk about how ridiculous and inappropriate.
Well, Christine, I've been married 33 years. My wife would hit me in the head with a pan if I talked like that to her.
Well, exactly. And your brother should hit you in the head with a pan too. It shouldn't just be the women. I mean, this nation has changed. I was thinking of Scotty Scheffler. I was at the Masters last week covering the Masters, and Tiger Woods, of course, that fascinating story. And Scotty Scheffler won, as I'm sure you and your listeners are aware. Well, he had a stay-at-home dad. His mom was working as I think the chief operating officer for a major law firm. She was the breadwinner, and there's Scotty Scheffler winning the Masters. And talk about what we think of as the quote unquote traditional family. We should throw that word out the window. The traditional family is whatever it is that's best for that family. And in the Scheffler family, it was dad staying at home and driving the kids, the sisters to their golf, and the brother, Scotty, to his golf or other sports that they played, the girls and the boys. And so, that's reality. That's our world. And I think the NFL just seems like, it's like whack-a-mole, pops up again and again. Obviously, some, like Cam Newton, are ridiculous and inane, and just, enough with him. Obviously, others are very, very serious, like the sexual harassment issues in the Washington workplace.
How about this too, Christine? You mentioned Deshaun Watson. So he gets an $80,000 raise and $230 million in guarantees. And the NFL just goes, well, we needed a quarterback. I mean, that just shows you a little bit again. And maybe that's why Daniel Snyder, again, Christine, is like, you're protected by the old guard again until they get movement. When it comes to diversity inside the ownership ranks, you're still going to have status quo.
You are, you and I could probably hold our breath for a long time, but we're going to have to hold our breath for much longer than whatever we could hold it for, till we're blue in the face, until there's fans are marching on Washington. You know what I mean? You would hope, obviously the Tomey family, Jim Tomey's wife, with her gallant and terrific stand of giving back her Browns tickets, and if she couldn't get rid of them, she was going to sell them and then have all the money go to women's causes, women's shelters, et cetera, in Cleveland after the Watson signing. And, I would love to say that there'd be 10,000 people doing that in Cleveland, or 50,000 people doing that in Cleveland, but I'm a realist, right? I'm not. Where are people protesting in the streets of Cleveland today? I don't think they are, right?
No.
So the NFL knows that. The NFL knows that. I'm not minimizing what I should look her name because she's not just Jim Thomey's wife. She is, of course, a fabulous humanitarian and leader for what she's doing in Cleveland. Andrea Thomey. Andrea Thomey, the wife of the MLB Hall of Famer Jim Thomey, who they canceled their Brown season tickets after 40 years of being fans of the team because of the Deshaun Watson signing. That's great. That is terrific. But they seem to be one-offs, right? It's here, it's there. And the NFL knows that, and it knows it's got the power, and it knows it has the popularity. And it can weather so much. It has weathered, just extraordinary things, from Ray Rice, the punch, to other domestic violence, of course, to the concussion issue, which is a huge, absolutely huge issue, brain trauma and brain injuries for football players, and of course other sports as well, and on it goes, and it remains so popular. And so I don't want to use the word "it gets away with it" because I think that's implying that they know that they want to get away with it. I don't think Roger Goodell. I mean, he sure wouldn't want Deshaun Watson doing what he allegedly did. I know Roger Goodell. I don't think, of course, he wouldn't want that. Of course, Roger Goodell wouldn't want a lot of these things to happen. He's the father of 2 daughters. He's married to a very accomplished woman, a broadcaster herself. So they don't wish for these things. But once they arrive at the doorstep of the NFL, Dan, I think it becomes an issue where the owners are the bosses and Goodell works for them. And the idea is to keep things moving along. And obviously there have been changes, the concussion protocol, other things like that over the years. There have been people's careers ending. Ray Rice, perfect example. But gosh, it just seems like it happens over and over again, and they get away with it. And maybe it is a microcosm of our society. I'm not trying to cut them any slack, but I do think, clearly these are young men, and things happen with young people in our society. But my goodness, these are also role models for our children and supposedly pillars of the community. And shame on them. And of course, shame on the NFL for tolerating any of it, in my humble opinion.
Absolutely. I think that the NFL, again, they just look in the front window, never in the rearview mirror, never sit with true issues that really affect society. They are a microcosm of themselves. Christine, I love you, man, for taking time. I know that you have such a busy day all the time. I so appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much.
Dan, my pleasure. Next time we'll get in front of a camera and we'll do it properly.
Thank you so much, Christine. I appreciate it. That is our friend Christine Brennan from USA Today. They're on the Morgan & Morgan hotline. And speaking of our friends at Morgan & Morgan, been friends with them for over 25 years. Hard to believe that John has grown this company because he's out there helping people like you. And he's got some great things that he always throws at the folks that call Morgan & Morgan. The fee is free. That means this: they don't get paid unless you get your proper compensation. That's right. So when you're either hurt on the job, you're injured on the job, choosing a lawyer, John used to tell me, is one of the most difficult things and one of the most important things that you could possibly do is finding that right lawyer. For the people, that's not a slogan, okay? That's what they do, and that's who they are. They've been doing this and representing you this way for the people for years now. With over 800 attorneys and offices in Philadelphia, Florida, New York, across America, Morgan & Morgan's army of lawyers are ready to fight for you to get you the proper compensation that you need. The call is free. The consultation is free, right? Pick up the phone, 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Morgan & Morgan is there for you. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
After a car crash, the big insurance companies you see advertising on TV, they may try to downplay your case and might say it's only a fender bender or it's just a herniated disc. I worry that some law firms fall for this BS. Not us. We put ourselves in your shoes and ask, what would it be like to be in your pain for the rest of our lives? $1 million wouldn't be enough for me. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the memories. Go for the view that goes on forever. Go for the bubbles in your bathtub and in your drink. Go to bed whenever you want. Or don't. Go for him. Go for her. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
I deserve this. I deserve you. You guys, you see, I would be a hypocrite if I scolded you. Oh, God. Can you guys do me one favor, please? Try not to frighten the shit out of my guests, please. I want you to help me. Help. Like Jerry Maguire. Help me. Help you. You know, she's like won 3 Pulitzers. Okay? She's a Pulitzer Prize winning. She's even a professor at Northwestern. Please. I'm begging you. This is not one of those trashy dudes that writes for the Inquirer. Or one of those blowhorns over there. Oh, Howie! Howie! I love you, Howie! Okay. I get it. A liberal. Got to have some balance here. Oh, Gator. You know, okay. Hey, no. Gator, your new name is Cam Gator. Hey, Sills, can she make a sandwich? See, now remember, I've gotten in trouble before for saying some things that maybe not conducive for radio. I've been accused of saying some things. Oh, don't Google it, please. Please don't Google it. What I said to Aaron Andrews, please don't. Please, I beg you. I'm trying to be more grown up. And why do you guys throw me in the shithole? Ugh. Yeah, guys, hold on. Oh, one above all, you're the worst. Why do I like you guys? Wait a minute. Why do I like you guys? You guys are like, hey, man, she's hitting a bong. Oh, man, you think she's rolled up a $20 bill? You think she's sniffing coke? Is that what she's doing? Did I hear her with a rail? Christine Brennan, multiple-time Pulitzer winner. You guys are saying, what's she doing, hitting coke? Smoking a bong? Oh. This is what Eagle fans sound like. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, 215, is this how you talk in the stands at Lincoln Financial? She's got snowflakes in her eyes. Okay, Rico. You know the shit I'm going to get from my aunt from you guys? The Big Sills comedy show. Shadowcaster. Oh, my. There's something wrong with you, man. There's something seriously wrong with you guys. I talk about draft choices after that fiasco you guys just did. Honestly, really? Hey, let's talk about Sam Williams from Ole Miss. And you guys are going, dude, she was blowing dubs. She was doing rails. I know she was. You don't know what I love, Maniac. Philly's different? Really? I'm awake or you? What gave that away? He goes, hey, Philly's different. Really? Oh, I would never have known. You're worse in the stands? You mean you were like that guy last night that grabbed that Met guy's phone and threw it down on the field? Actually, I loved it. This is why I think we're all getting along. Okay? Razor, I didn't say I added that, but you guys are talking about, hey man, I think she's doing rails. Couple bumps. Hey, what here, watch this. I swear you guys, I'm surprised. I'm so thankful I can't hear your faces. Because I guarantee you guys would have been doing this. What's he doing? Is that guy cutting an 8-ball up? What are you doing? Oh, really? I think Christine could probably use a credit card. Yeah, man. What's that noise? Let's play charades. I've been thrown off already. Oh, you guys are horrible. You guys are terrible. And of course, Xander's laughing his ass off. Great. Sorry, bastards. Hey, you know what, man? I want to sit in the stands for an Eagle game this coming year. Yeah, Matt Hatter. Why? Because I didn't laugh at what you guys were saying? Every one of you wanted to say this. Hey, that's great. Daniel Snyder sucks. Now go get me a sandwich. I know you guys. Right? Yeah, it's terrible, man. She's a friend too, man, for 30-some years. No, Chris. I want to sit in the stands and I want to hear it, man, for myself. And I'm not going to sit in a suite. Usually I do because, my nails. Hey, I'm awake or you? Don't worry. Big Sil's all right in the stands. I can handle myself. I'll be all right. We should all get seats. Oh, yeah. No, man. I don't want anybody. I want us to have a section. Dude, I've been to the link a bunch of times. But you know what, guys? It ain't quite the vet, though, is it? It's not the vet. It's not the vet. Okay. You see what this punk just said to me? Sanders just said this. That punk just said this. He goes, Philly would eat you up. Really? All right. Okay. Ain't nobody eat Big Sills up. That ain't happening. Cali? I'm not a Cali guy. I hate communist California. I'm an East Coast dude. No way. I got to be careful, though. My daughter's born in Los Angeles. My daughter's playing for the national championship this weekend, too. Yeah, she's like, Dad. She got on an airplane 5:30 in the morning. They're flying up. They got Stanford on Friday. Then they got BYU on Saturday. And those are the semi and quarters. And then when they get through them, then they go to Chicago and play for the national champion. No, New Orleans for the national championship at the Superdome. They're playing at Stanford Stadium Friday night under the lights. Yeah. And I get to watch it, too. I can't wait. Sills looks like a Jersey dude. I'm an aristocratic Connecticut guy. That's where they send all the aristocratic Connecticut Italians. They send them to Fairfield County. Yeah, I live down in Chapin, where all the paisans live. Chapin, where all the time. Well, back then they did. Hey, back then they did. We had Italian. We had here on my street, Silvano Road. We had Italians and Greeks. My grandfather goes like this. I had a Greek guy across the street. I had a guy up the street too, you know. He's a good Italian, but I don't know, man. He never comes out of his house. I don't like people that whisper or hide. Tri-State, you're good. She speaks well. She's like Christine Brennan. Bro, look her up, man. She's as famous as it gets. Oh, what? You guys don't like... Oh. Okay, Cam. Philly guys like Cam guy. Woman talking routes. Sounds funny. Woman. Oh, man. Woman talking routes. By the way, Cam Newton, woman can't cook, get out. God dang. Oh, my God. Hey, she can't cook, get out. That's my quarterback. Hey, I wanted Cam in Philly. My wife goes like this to me. Hey, did you hear them idiotic comments Cam Newton said? I went like this. Yes, honey, they were despicable. Hey, I had a lie. Oh, despicable. He's an awful human. He's terrible. Oh, man. You guys are brutal. And by the way, yeah, all you idiots, okay, that were talking shit, I was reading it and laughing. So just know. And by the way, everyone can see him. What am I going to do with you guys? I can't take you guys anywhere. I can't take you anywhere, man. Oh, and by the way, if you come up to Oceans, the 28th to 29th, when I'm doing my draft show, my aunt and my cousin Lucy are going to be there. You guys better be on your best behaviors. Okay? Be on your best behaviors, because my aunt will give you a ton of shit. Okay? My cousin Lucy's a sweetheart. Be nice. Jesus Christ, I got to scold these guys because they're talking shit on my guests. Xander, great stuff as always. Hit the like button. Oh, man. Houston odds. Tomorrow I'll be with Barrett in the middle again. That's the final middle show too, by the way. Then we'll be back 4 to 6 here doing the afternoon show. By the way, don't forget on Monday, we go to 3 hours. Okay. Hugh, I love you too, man. It's all good. You guys are great. Please hit the like button. Till tomorrow, have a great night. See you.